punishable by death.
A former CPS student who accused their coach of abuse is speaking publicly for the first time.
And property taxes are jumping across Cook County. We're looking at whether any type of reform can slow these costs down. Good afternoon, I'm Darren Lee.
And I'm Sylvia Perez. Weather is first at 4.
Chief Meteorologist Emily Walls has our first check of the forecast. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and it's more of the same out there today. We're kind of locked in with the cloud cover. Temperatures, they have not changed much over the last 24 to 48 hours. Again, today we were sitting in the 40s, and you can see here from the satellite and radar, the cloud cover, it's still holding overhead too. And we've actually had a couple areas of some patchy drizzle. That's going to come to an end tonight, but then tomorrow we're actually going to be seeing at least some scattered showers moving into portions of the area, especially near and south of I-80. Your temperatures right now, many of us are sitting in the mid to upper 40s, fairly seasonable for this time of the year. So even though we haven't had much in the way of sunshine the last few days, temperatures, they've been right on par with what's considered to be average. Your evening planner, very similar to last evening. We're looking at cloudy skies, temperatures very, very slowly dropping through the 40s. Most of us are going to find lows in the low to mid 40s, but a couple spots could be in the 30s. I'll have your full forecast coming up.
All right, thanks, Emily. And new at 4 here, a federal court has temporarily halted the release of hundreds of Operation Midway Blitz detainees. A district judge had allowed their release on a $1,500 bond, but the Trump administration appealed that release. Those people were scheduled to walk free tomorrow, but will now have to wait until the next court hearing, which is scheduled for December 2nd.
Another federal case is taking a turn. Prosecutors want to toss out the whole case against a woman from Chicago who was shot by a Border Patrol agent.
Leslie Moreno is at the Dirksen Federal Courthouse right now with the latest on what's happening.
Marimar Martinez was expected in court this evening for a routine motion hearing, but instead prosecutors are now asking the judge to completely wipe out the case against her and her co-defendant Anthony Ruiz. This comes as the defense keeps pushing back, saying federal agents mishandled and even destroyed evidence. Martinez was shot several times on October 4th after Border Patrol agents say she rammed their SUV during a traffic stop in Brighton Park. Her attorney says the evidence tells a very different story. The focus right now is that federal Tahoe, the SUV involved in the shooting. The defense says the vehicle was moved more than 1,000 miles away to Maine, repaired and cleaned long before they were ever allowed to inspect it. They argue that any physical damage that could have helped show what really happened is now gone, leaving them with just a couple of photos and tiny paint chips that the government turned over. In earlier hearings, the defense also pointed to text messages from the shooting agent claiming he bragged about firing 5 rounds and said Martinez had 7 holes. And they say body camera video captures an agent yelling, "Do something, B," just seconds before shots were fired. Prosecutors, though, have always said the agent acted in self-defense, insisting Martinez hit their vehicle first. And the judge still has to rule on that request, and that could happen as early as this evening. If the judge signs off, the case is essentially over. We'll bring you more updates as the hearing continues. At the Dirksen building, Leslie Moreno, Fox 32 News.
Well, local officials say this week's massive immigration crackdown in Charlotte, led by Customs and Border Protection, is now over.
Well, late this afternoon, the Department of Homeland Security said that's not exactly the case. Sarah Legray is live there now. Sarah, explain the back and forth here.
Well, Taryn, Sylvia, earlier today, the sheriff's office said, you know what, CBP, they're pulling out. But they also wanted to make it very clear that ICE is still very much active in this community. They have the right, they have the authority to arrest people who are here in this country illegally. Now, behind me, you are seeing those protesters. They have their signs. They've been out all day. We've seen cars drive by. They're honking their horns as well, all calling for this operation to stop. But they also want to share this message with other cities. Take a listen.
Keep your head on the swivel. At the end of the day, we believe they're going to move on to some other city. Now's the time for us to work together as a real community, loving and caring for one another, and beginning to rebuild some of these businesses that may have lost lots of money over the course of the last week.
Border Patrol says agents have arrested 370 people since the operation they're dubbing Charlotte's Web. It started on Saturday, and we're told dozens have criminal records, including gang affiliation, assault, and drunk driving. The Border Patrol has faced some pretty harsh pushback just about everywhere they've gone.
I hope you all kill yourself.
Some protesters say Border Patrol is racial profiling. CBP says, hey, that's false, but a lot of folks out there say they're still scared. All week long, people have skipped work, and Charlotte schools say as many as 30,000 students have stayed home.
You will not break these kids. This is their home. Leave them alone.
And the DHS doubling down, saying agents are mainly focused on what they call the worst of the worst, while also upholding the law.
We are making those arrests of criminal aliens, people that have been released by sanctuary jurisdictions. But if ICE or Border Patrol does encounter somebody that's crossed the border illegally, well, that's a crime too. They're not supposed to be in the country at all.
Yeah, and the Department of Homeland Security says they are going to continue this operation, but in other cities moving on out. And it looks like New Orleans is on the Trump administration's radar next. In Charlotte, Sarah Allegre, Fox 32 Chicago.
President Trump is threatening Democrats with sedition charges, saying people who tell the military to disobey orders should be, quote, punished by death. He posted this on his Truth Social platform. He also shared a post from someone else that said hang them.
Trump is talking about a video that has gone viral made by 6 veterans in Congress. Democrats are calling these death threats and demanding that Trump immediately delete these unhinged social media posts and recant his violent rhetoric before he gets someone killed. Quote. Connor Hansen is in the nation's capital with more on this quickly developing story.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
This is the clip circulating on social media featuring 6 Democrats who served in the military or intelligence community. The lawmakers say the Trump administration is pitting the military against American citizens. President Trump took to Truth Social to condemn the video, writing, quote, their words cannot be allowed to stand, seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up. The president then added seditious behavior punishable by death.
He is throwing a match into a country filled with political extreme gasoline. It is dangerous. It is devastating.
Democrats have been critical of the use of the National Guard and U.S. troops in American cities like Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. They're also concerned about recent deadly strikes on alleged drug boats and the military buildup in the South Caribbean.
Donald Trump has made a series of very disturbing comments and suggestions that would violate U.S. law and put our military in terrible positions. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait until that happens to remind our troops of their obligation, because then it'll be too late.
The White House is pushing back.
We do things by the books, and to suggest and encourage that active duty service members defy the chain of command is a very dangerous thing for sitting members of Congress to do.
Levitt says the president does not want anyone to be executed. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox 32, Chicago.
Well, for the first time, a former CPS student who is alleging abuse at the hands of a PE teacher is now talking about it.
The Board of Education settled with the man, who is now an adult, earlier this year, but a civil case against the accused perpetrator is still going on.
Kasey Chronis is live in the newsroom with this exclusive story. Kasey.
That's right, Sylvia and Terrence. While CPS settled for $1.1 million with the former student in June, that man who wishes to remain anonymous and who we are calling John Doe wants his story heard. We've reached out to the accused PE teacher, who we are told no longer works for CPS, and his attorney, but have not yet heard back. According to a civil complaint filed last year, John Doe says he was abused by Isaac Vega sexually, physically, and mentally, beginning in the mid-90s. Doe went to Carl von Linné Elementary School on the city's northwest side, and that's when documents allege Vega started grooming the boy. At the time, he was in 6th grade. Doe tells us his father died at a young age, and his mother was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. The complaint goes on to say that Vega gained the boy's trust, and roughly 1 year later, the abuse started.
It was everywhere. And when I say everywhere, it was school, it was home, it was car, it was park, it was my personal home, his personal home. For a little while, he lived with his parents. It was in his parents' home. To this day, it's really difficult. I drive all over the city every single day for work, and I have to make multiple pit stops in different locations. And some of those pit stops are places that he actually abused me in a car.
An assignment hearing in this civil case against Vega is scheduled for December 1st. John Doe's attorney, Mark Brown, says Doe was manipulated and states in court documents that the abuse lasted for roughly 5 years.
As a 12-year-old, and you're looking for that stability in your life, you can see how a vulnerable child of that age is going to be susceptible to an older male figure for at least a year, providing you guidance, providing you assistance, helping you in sports, sort of mentoring you at the school you're in, and then when that person has gained your confidence, taking advantage of it. And it lasted for several years while at Carl von Linné in the mid-90s, and then even on after that until he was old enough to fight him off.
Again, we made several attempts to reach Vega and his attorney for a response to these allegations. At this point, no criminal charges have been filed against Vega. We also reached out to CPS for a statement, and a spokesperson there shares they are working on one. Doe originally filed this civil suit back in 2019. Terrence.
All right, Kasey, thank you. A man who was shot by Chicago police is now facing charges. Anthony Nielsen is charged with assaulting a police officer and having a gun as a repeat felon. Police say they tried to stop him Tuesday morning in the Washington Park neighborhood, but he ran and didn't stop when told to. An officer shot Nielsen in an alley off 56th in South Michigan. Police say they found a gun at the scene. COPA is investigating, and Nelson's family is speaking publicly, questioning if police used too much force. The Riverdale Village Board has picked a new acting mayor. Trustee Cassandra Riley Pinckney is taking over. She's been on the board for 10 years. She is replacing former Mayor Lawrence Jackson, who was convicted this month on federal charges of perjury and obstructing justice. Riley Pinckney will be mayor until the next election in April 2027.
Former Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan has officially been disbarred. According to court documents, he lost the power to practice law in the state. Madigan was convicted on bribery, conspiracy, and wire fraud charges. The 83-year-old was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison and fined $2.5 million. Madigan is appealing his conviction. Mayor Johnson is calling an attack on a CTA Blue Line an isolated incident. On Monday, a woman was set on fire by a fellow passenger. That man is now facing federal charges. Here is what the mayor had to say about the investigation.
The level of accountability that has to happen in this moment, I trust that the federal level will do its part. What I can say is that as awful and as horrific as this tragedy is, this is as an isolated incident. As we continue to invest more in our public transportation system, we want people to feel safe as they ride.
50-year-old Lawrence Reed is charged with terrorism against a mass transportation system. Prosecutors say he was on pretrial release for an aggravated battery case and has had several prior cases in his criminal history.
Chicago police are investigating a string of burglaries in Hyde Park. The latest target, Sean Michelle's homemade ice cream. Burglars smashed through the front door, took the cash register, cleared out the safes. This happened overnight. Now, on Tuesday, 3 suspects hit 5 businesses between 55th and 56th Streets in a 5-hour crime spree. Police haven't confirmed that the same crew is behind this ice cream shop break-in. The owners of this family business say the loss might force them to shut down permanently.
Today, George W. Bush and Joe Biden joined hundreds of people to honor Dick Cheney's life in Washington.
He is considered one of the most polarizing yet influential figures in American politics. Mike Emanuel shows us how he's being remembered.
Family, friends, lawmakers, and other VIPs gathering at Washington National Cathedral to pay their respects to former Vice President Dick Cheney.
On his steady rise through the corridors of power, his circle of friends kept growing. He did not abandon those who helped him along the way.
Former President George W. Bush remembering his vice president as a man of character devoted to protecting the country.
You did not know Dick Cheney unless you understood his greatest concerns and ambitions were for his country. Across 40 years, his service was consistent, faithful, and noble.
Cheney was a force in Republican politics. He served as defense secretary, White House chief of staff, and as a Wyoming congressman. But his greatest influence was as the nation's 46th vice president, playing a leading role in the response to September 11th, including the war on terror and invasion of Iraq, all while battling heart problems.
He never looked over his shoulder. He only looked ahead.
Cheney remained out of politics in recent years, but he became one of the most prominent Republicans to oppose President Trump. And last year said he would cast his vote for then Vice President Kamala Harris.
He knew that bonds of party must always yield to the single bond we share as Americans.
Cheney passed away at 84 years old due to complications from pneumonia and heart disease. At Washington National Cathedral, Mike Emanuel, Fox 32, Chicago.
Still to come, Cook County passes a budget without any tax hikes.
But property taxes are still on the top of mind for homeowners. One proposal to slow the rising costs down.
And bundle up. Dozens of people are voluntarily sleeping outside to raise awareness about homelessness.
And a labor of love. Tia Ewing sits down with a mother who was forced to deliver her daughter in a car after being forced out of the hospital. And the interview was interrupted by a special guest. We'll meet the entire family when we come back.
Fox.
A South suburban couple is grateful their newborn daughter is okay. Earlier this week, they told us how they were discharged from Franciscan Health Crown Point.
Now, just 8 minutes later, their 6-pound baby girl arrived delivered inside their pickup truck.
Tonight, Tia Ewing shares more after spending time with the family at home and the little one.
Yeah, the little one's so adorable. Yes. And we know this could have ended way differently, right, in terms of that little baby. We sat down with the couple and their newborn and learned new details about what they say happened inside the hospital. 38-year-old Mercedes Wells was already considered a high-risk pregnancy, and she says there were clear signs that baby Alina was on the way.
They treated me like I was less than human. So, yeah, it was... my water actually had broke while I was in the room. When I was in the bathroom, my water broke. And she still claimed that I was not in active labor.
Well, Leon Wells was getting ready for a work trip and didn't want to leave his wife Mercedes behind. But on their drive back, she started having contractions. The couple called Franciscan Health Crown Point to say they were coming, but they say the reception wasn't welcoming. Mercedes says she spent 6 hours there, and moments before discharge, her water broke. She says a nurse told her she wasn't dilated enough, and they never saw a doctor. 8 minutes after being wheeled out, that's when Leon had to deliver their baby girl in the family pickup truck right on the highway. The hospital issued a statement acknowledging disparities in healthcare and saying an investigation is underway. But the couple questions how, since they have never been contacted.
They claim that they're doing an investigation, but I'm a part of the investigation. They haven't reached out to me. They haven't tried to speak with me. They haven't had, they haven't reached out for a meeting. So how are they doing an investigation?
Yeah, we retained a lawyer, but we don't want to go there. I mean, just talk to us. That's all we asking. Let's be, let's get to the bottom of this together. We don't have to be adversaries.
Alina is doing just fine. She's healthy, but the family says the system isn't, and they want hospital protocols changed so no other parent will have to face what they did. Of course, this is a story we will continue to follow. Sylvia and Terrence.
What an adorable baby.
So cute.
Oh,
Thank
so
goodness
adorable.
she is doing okay.
Yes,
Baby's
yes.
doing okay.
So beautiful. Let's take a live look outside. Overcast skies and definitely a little gloomy all day. Are we going to have some rain coming up again soon?
Yeah, so it's possible tomorrow near and south of I-80. We could be seeing some scattered showers as the system passes well to our south. So it's just scattered activity that's going to be here across the south suburbs into northwest Indiana. Everywhere else tomorrow, that cloud cover is just going to hang steady. So we're not done with the clouds just yet. And then over the weekend, that's when we finally start to clear things out. The weekend looks great. We're going to be partly cloudy on Saturday. By Sunday, we're expected to be mostly sunny. And then Monday and Tuesday, we have a chance for some rain returning, but it is going to be in the liquid form before a big drop in temperatures is expected around Thanksgiving and especially the days following. Your temperatures right now, many of us are sitting in the mid to upper 40s, and here's where we're headed. There's not going to be a ton of change with our temperatures again tonight, so we're going to remain rather steady. Most of us are going to bottom out in the low to mid 40s, and then tomorrow we're rebounding into the upper 40s during the day. Cloudy skies expected, but again, a couple stray showers possible near and south of 80. And then Friday night into Saturday, we're going to get cooler because the skies are going to clear out. So our temperatures are going to drop down into the 30s, and then we're going to be in the upper 40s to near 50 degrees Saturday afternoon, but a decent amount of sunshine as we go into this weekend. So Saturday is going to be partly cloudy. We'll have a high right around 50, 56 degrees, lots of sunshine on Sunday for the Bears game. And then on Monday and Tuesday, that's when we start to see those showers returning to the area, but it's just a really small chance at this point. It looks like the best chance of rain is likely going to be here Monday night into early morning Tuesday. So a fairly convenient time for that rain to come through, and your temperatures are going to hold steady in the mid 50s early next week. Back to you.
And Saturday looks great because it's almost time to light up the season.
Believe it, we have a behind-the-scenes preview of the magnificent Mile Lights Festival.
One band, one sound, one bandwidth. How a local organization is giving Chicago youth new hope through the sound of music.
And two area sisters are playing a vital role in reshaping a national conversation between young Americans and the Vatican.
Up football fans, it's time now for Toyota Talks. Let's bring in Adam Hogue from CHGO. I had former Bears snapper, a guy that you know well, Pat Manley, on the show Monday. He and I agreed on the Bears MVP up till this point. Take a stab at who you think we picked, and who would you pick?
Was it Joe Thuney?
You're close, man. Very good. We actually picked the entire offensive line. Nice work.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it is something, you know, going back to what we were just talking about a few minutes ago, just about it being refreshing that the Bears are back in, you know, playing meaningful games in November. It's the style of which they're playing, too. Is it perfect on offense? No. I mean, I think there's a lot of different areas you can still clean up, especially when it comes to catching the football. But up front, just look at the way the game ended in Minnesota, right? It's third down. You know they got to pick up more yards to make it a more comfortable field goal. I think most people are probably thinking they're going to throw it there. Not Ben Johnson. He leans on his offensive line to run a bread and butter run play, and they pick up enough yards to make a manageable field goal for Cairo Santos. That's having trust in those old linemen up front. I think it's been really refreshing to see the way that those guys have come along. Started to gel a little bit. There is a rhythm to the run game and how these guys block up front together, especially when it comes to combination blocks. I still think there's moments where it could be better, but just this sort of physical smash mouth football, I'm really enjoying watching it, whether it's live or later when we're going through the tape after these games. It's really, honestly, it's really fun to watch.
Take your
Still to come, a new art center opens this week on the west side, and the first notes inside feel like hope and a call for more. This afternoon, we take you there.
And would you volunteer to sleep outside? Dozens of people are rolling out sleeping bags for a night on Wacker Drive.
But first, the calls for property tax reform are growing louder.
Sticker shock from delayed property tax bills in Cook County. Second installment bills finally began hitting mailboxes this week, 4 months after the initial payment due date.
And some of Chicago's South and West Side homeowners are facing hikes of 98 to 130%. Former state legislator Ricky Hendon says these increases are unjustified and could result in dozens of homeowners losing their properties. Today, he announced he plans to travel to Springfield and call on state lawmakers to freeze all property tax hikes statewide. He also wants a meeting with Governor Pritzker where he will insist tax increases are not only frozen, but that any assessments are adjusted to last year's levels.
We believe there is no way a person should not be able to appeal these taxes right now. Right now. When you get your bill, is when you should be able to appeal your taxes, not a year ahead of time.
The second installment payments are due December 15th.
The Cook County Board unanimously approved a $10 million budget for 2026. And the good news is there is no tax hikes or extra fees. Board President Tony Preckwinkle says the budget was balanced without layoffs, tax increases, or cuts to essential services. She is calling it a response to sweeping cuts and ongoing chaos at the federal level and protection against, quote, Donald Trump's cuts. Preckwinkle says there is money in the budget to expand the Public Defender's Immigration Unit and that unit will get 7 more positions next year.
On Wall Street today, the major stock averages lost their momentum. The Dow and Nasdaq swung over 1,000 points between their highest and lowest points. This happened because of concerns about how much AI companies are worth and doubts the Fed won't cut interest rates in December. Mortgage rates keep going up. The average 30-year rate is now 6.26%. Rates have been rising for 3 weeks, but they're still lower than a year ago. Job growth picked up in September.
The delayed September employment report found stronger than expected job growth. There were 119,000 new jobs created, more than double the 50,000 expected. The unemployment rate rose to 4.4%. There won't be a separate October employment report released because there wasn't sufficient data collected during the government shutdown. It's going to be a part of the November report on December 16th after the Fed's December 9th and 10th meeting. However, the Fed does have other sources on the job market.
A new study shows parents in 85 of the 100 biggest cities in the U.S. pay more for child care than for rent. In Omaha, Nebraska, child care costs more than twice as much as a 2-bedroom apartment. Milwaukee is second on the list. Child care costs have been going up for years and don't seem to be slowing down. From 2020 to 2024, costs rose nearly 30%. Experts say this is because there aren't enough workers or spaces at daycare centers. Now, here are Chicago's numbers from Lending Tree. The average monthly cost for infant care is about $69 less than rent for a 2-bedroom apartment. For families with 2 kids, child care costs are 78% higher than rent.
The number of passengers flying through O'Hare International Airport has taken flight exceeding pre-pandemic levels. This recovery is being fueled by the 2 largest carriers, United and American Airlines. Coming up on the news at 5, a look at the holiday travel expectations and a new workaround for travelers without real ID or a passport.
Tonight, hundreds of people in more than 24 cities are trading the comfort of their beds for cement. It's the National Sleep Out.
This annual event is part of National Homeless Youth Awareness Month. In Chicago, more than 100 volunteers will join Covenant House, Illinois, to sleep outside along Wacker Drive before laying down for the night. They will hear from young people who have faced homelessness and found help through Covenant House. Every year, the group provides more than 70,000 meals and housing for young adults.
Sleep Out is an act of compassion and solidarity. A single night where we give up the comfort of our beds and affirm in one resounding voice that no young person deserves to be homeless.
Tonight's Sleep Out raises money to help Covenant House's mission. The 12-hour event begins at 8 p.m.
It'll be a bit cool for them tonight, too.
but probably not as bad as it could be for this time of year, right?
Yeah, that's right. So tonight our temperatures are going to be very similar to the last couple of nights. We're staying fairly steady, which is actually really good news for all the folks that are going to be taking part in that, because typically for this time of the year, your average low is actually in the lower 30s. We're going to be staying about 10 degrees above that tonight, looking at low to mid 40s for a lot of us. Currently, we're sitting in the mid to upper 40s, so we're only going to drop a few degrees tonight. Many of us, again, low to mid 40s expected, but a couple spots may dip into the upper 30s in the far northwest suburbs. Your outdoor forecast for Friday, cloudy skies. Temperatures are going to be in the mid 40s throughout at least about 10 a.m. But then I think after that, many of us are going to be topping out pretty close to 50 degrees, and showers are going to be possible near and south of I-80. Sunshine returns over the weekend, and we're in the mid 50s for Sunday's Bears game. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Emily. A West Side program is using music to build confidence, community, and purpose.
And with a new space opening this week, their students are ready to let you feel the sound of their growth.
And a papal call how a pair of Chicago twins are connecting young Americans with Pope Leo himself.
Wait.
Welcome back. It's 4:39. Thousands of young people hung out with the Pope today, and a local set of twins was front and center. It was a live stream encounter this morning from St. Benedict Parish, Chicago, during the National Catholic Youth Conference. Twin sisters Cameron and Petra Caprio, who are very active with the parish, were on stage during a conversation with Pope Leo XIV. The conference includes 3 days of worship, music, and fun for more than 20,000 people, 15,000 of them between 14 and 18 years old. The girls are seniors and have been active in the parish. They were selected to review the questions that were prepared for the Pope's live stream.
It feels really amazing. I mean, it was definitely a transformative experience, and it's just something that means a lot to us. Our faith is something that's so important to us, and as teens, like within a Chicago public school and within Chicago, it is really important for the Pope to hear us and understand us. And we're really excited to see the different conversations, the different people who are going to be talking to us, and what lessons we can take away from that. I'm excited for that as well.
Well, the twins are looking at a number of Jesuit Catholic colleges so they can continue to have an impact in college, just like they have had in high school.
If you ever wonder what it looks like when a community fights for its kids, you are about to feel it. Bandwidth gives West Side students free music training in a space where they grow stronger together. And tomorrow, their new building opens in East Garfield Park. Photojournalist Jacob Karp takes you inside what hope sounds like.
This is a really good community.
My favorite part is like just showing up.
We're opening up to the community our new performance space for youth and the entire community to enjoy. We do offer band, choir, dance, drumline, and studio engineering.
The impact that this program has had on my life is like I learned many valuable life skills, and not just music. Like it taught me how to be patient, kind, and forgiving, and how to be a better person.
I've been in this organization since 3rd grade. This is a really good community for people who are just out there, who want to find a place to be, instruments to play, a place to feel loved, a place to feel supported for your dreams. This is the place to come to.
Any facet of the performing arts develop a child holistically. So socially, emotionally, it also boosts morale.
For the choreography, I didn't want to do any of that because I was so shy, but then after years of doing it, I'm like, this isn't actually so bad. Once I break out of my shell, it actually helped me be more confident in my dances. It helped me get over my fears.
So eager to try and be the best on drums, do better at drums, even while still figuring out my rhythms and all that. Being in bandwidth taught me time etiquette, taught me just proper etiquette to perform well, how to apply yourself to college, mainly just how to put yourself out there and be a better person than you came in.
Having this building is a tremendous opportunity for Bandwidth to grow, reach more young people, engage the community, and give back through the arts.
My favorite memories coming here is when we go on tour and we get to see how many people appreciate music.
And we all come together as a big group.
It was just performing in school gyms, then started applying us, getting books for gigs, stuff like that, like Andy's Jazz Club, Talia Hall. We played with the Blackhawks a couple of times. We played with the Bears drumline back in 2023. That was like the best performance we had, especially with all them eyes on us.
When the community knows that they have a safe space for their young people, and then ultimately a safe space for the adults in the community and the people around the community, it breeds positive growth and development within a community.
If you want to back this work, you can go to bandwidthchicago.org. You can sign up to help or get your child involved. Bandwidth runs on donations, and every dollar supports music education for their students. You can give right there on their website.
The holidays are rolling into Chicago this weekend, and they're bringing the big man himself. It's the 34th annual Wintrust Magnificent Mile Lights Festival, and Santa will be the guest of honor. The rules for lung cancer checks may be leaving out the very people who need them the most. Ahead on the news at 5, we have the evidence that doctors want you to see. But first, here's a look at your trip home.
It's starting the day with hope, knowing you're in the right place, having access to advanced treatments and the most experienced cancer experts. When you're facing cancer, it's not just one thing that makes the difference. It's everything. The big, the small, the unexpected that helps you keep moving forward. Advocate Healthcare. Cancer care that makes the difference.
Guess what? Santa's already in town, y'all. Yep. He's here early. He's getting ready for the Mag Mile Lights Festival.
Yeah, it's happening on Saturday, and Jake got to meet the big guy to ask all the tough questions. Take a look.
That's right, guys. You know it's a big event when the big man himself shows up. We got Santa. I know him. Santa, how you feeling?
Feeling great.
He's feeling great, he said. He's feeling great. He's looking great. And he's probably feeling great because he knows we have a pretty epic event, the Wintrust Mag Mile Lights Festival. We know it's happening this Saturday, but we thought we'd take you behind the scenes as they're starting to get ready. We're here with Wendy, who's going to tell us all about it. Wendy, for a lot of people, this is really kind of their official kickoff to the holiday season, right?
Absolutely. It's definitely the kickoff to the season, and we're so excited to be part of it. And it's a great event that everybody can come join because it's free. You can come from near and far. It's wonderful. Very happy, very joyful. There's some really amazing talent coming. You'll be like rocking your socks for sure.
Well, what if I told you guys, thank you, Wendy, that we actually have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Tom Higginson, Plain White Tees. Tom, good to see you again, man. Good to see you. First of all, I'm so happy, like, just being home for you. This has got to be, I know you perform all over the world, but being here, what's that? That's got to be like just a homecoming for you.
I mean, we literally just got home from tour, so it feels so good to be back and to be able to play something like this and get all festive and show up for Chicago. It's the best.
Now, you guys have your own float in the the backdrop there, which is pretty incredible. But in addition to being a part of the parade, you guys are going to have a show a little bit earlier in the day as well.
So we're playing at 1 o'clock, acoustic set. The whole band is in town. We're going to do that at, was it Pioneer?
Yeah, it's going to be the Lights Festival Lane at Pioneer Court.
So we're doing that at 1, and then, yeah, we're going to be a part of the parade. We're going to be on the float playing, you know, cruising down Michigan Avenue.
Love that. You said the other boys are getting in tomorrow?
They're coming in tomorrow, yeah. So we'll all be here. It's going to be awesome, man.
Now listen, if one of them doesn't make it,
we'll call you for sure.
I mean, I look
to take over vocals. I don't know. I'm getting a little hoarse. You know,
dude. How do you improve upon perfection, my friend?
Oh, come on,
Tom, we love you. Thank you for always supporting us, man. We appreciate you. Good to see you, man. Congratulations on everything, dude. Good to see you. All right, guys. It is the Wintrust Mag Mile Lights Festival, and you know what? It is all wrapping up with the big guy up there, Santa. How am I looking this year?
Fantastic.
Fantastic, he said. How's my hair?
Your hair is perfect.
Perfect, he said. Naughty or nice list?
Nice list.
Nice list, he said. All right, guys, on that note, you heard it from the big man himself. We're going to toss it back to you guys in the studio.
Jake on the nice list.
He led the questions there.
Yeah, leading the witness.
Yeah. And Santa's a nice guy, so, you know.
He's not going to put him on the spot.
Exactly. Not when he's on TV.
On the TV, not live.
Yeah, that's for a later conversation.
Now, you're on the nice list, I'm sure.
I hope so.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. All I really want, though, is just to, like, sleep in for a day.
Peace and quiet.
Yeah, that's it. That's
You're
all I
not going to
want.
get it, but oh well.
This is the kind of weather you just want to nap.
Oh, I know. This week it's felt a little more draining, I think, just because it's been so gloomy outside.
Lack of sunshine, yeah.
Yeah, so we've been kind of locked in with cloud cover. That's going to continue for another day, and then we're going to start to see things improving going into this upcoming weekend. The latest drought monitor, that came out this morning. It looks about the same as what we had last week. So for those of you that are in the south suburbs, most of northwest Indiana looking to be in pretty good shape, but we still have moderate to severe drought across a good chunk of northeastern Illinois. All of this yellow shading here, that's considered to be abnormally dry, which is still including quite a bit of northeastern Illinois and Newton and Jasper County in northwest Indiana as well. Your high temperatures today, we ended up topping out in the mid to upper 40s, which, by the way, is fairly seasonable. Your average high sits right around 46 degrees, so we were just slightly above that. Tomorrow, we're going to be in the upper 40s to near 50 degrees again. Same thing on Saturday, but by Saturday, we're finally breaking into some sunshine. We're going to see our skies becoming partly cloudy. Then we're full on sunshine on Sunday. That's going to help to boost our temperatures a little bit into the mid-50s for the Bears game. And then on Monday and Tuesday, we're still mild. Temps are going to be in the mid, possibly sneaking into the upper 50s for a couple spots, but we're going to add in some rain to the forecast Monday night into Tuesday. Satellite and radar, things are quiet for now, but again, pretty cloudy out there. We've had areas of patchy drizzle. That's going to continue for a few more hours, but then it should begin to come to an end during the overnight. And then tomorrow, we're turning our attention to scattered rain showers that are going to be possible near and south of I-80. Notice by the morning commute, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning at this point, we're likely still dry. We're still going to be mostly cloudy. Then here comes those showers. Near and south of I-80 has the best chance of seeing those showers tomorrow, midday, especially through the afternoon. Then finally, going into this weekend, we have high pressure building in that's going to clear out the cloud cover, and we're going to be in pretty nice shape over the weekend. We're planning on 50s for highs and plenty of sunshine as well. So your Bears forecast, this is for Sunday. Kickoff is at noon against the Steelers. We're going to be in the low to mid 50s during game time, and a couple spots throughout the area actually going to be warming into the upper 50s on Sunday afternoon. For tonight, 42, 49 degrees tomorrow. We're going to be at 50, partly cloudy on Saturday. Sunday, lots of sun. Monday, there's a chance of rain Monday night into Tuesday morning. Highs still in the 50s, but soak it in. We have pretty big changes ahead by Thanksgiving Day next Thursday. Highs are only in the 30s. We'll be right back.
Stream.
potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, raw, dog, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, rat, greens, potatoes.
They're back. Run it back. That is the Thanksgiving theme song right there. So you know what we're about to talk about.
Oh, man.
Thanksgiving is 1 week away, y'all. Are you ready? Larger turkeys, by the way. And our producer, Vanessa, likes us to remind you of this every day until the day.
What?
Larger turkeys should be out the freezer, defrosting.
Right now?
Today is National Thaw Your
say.
Today's National Thaw Your Turkey Day.
Wow. And you're going to do what with it after that? Put it in the fridge.
sink.
Yeah, put it in the fridge to let it thaw. What were you going to say?
Put it in
I said put it in the sink.
Don't do that. No.
People.
We're not going to T's house for
This is why I just buy the ingredients.
Yeah, well, while the bird is the centerpiece of every Thanksgiving meal, it's not the main attraction. A new survey found 63% of people are more excited about the side dish.
So here's the big question. What's your favorite side dish?
Macaroni and cheese, candy yams, and collard greens.
Yeah, candy yams.
Ooh, I'm trying to think what's mine. I think I'm going to think about this for about 20 minutes, Sloan. I think I like the sausage stuffing. Ooh. Yeah, I like sausage stuffing.
Yeah, I don't believe this report.
Okay, well, Campbell's released its 2025 State of the Sides report.
No.
Green bean casserole came out on top with 44% calling it the most iconic side at the table with those little crunchy onion things,
onions
probably,
on top,
right?
French onions,
Yep, 50% of the nation believes mac and cheese should be a staple at every holiday.
I agree with those people.
I've never had green bean casserole.
You've never had it with the onion crunchies on top?
Overrated and super fattening.
My mom makes it.
Everything about Thanksgiving is fattening.
Not the cranberry sauce in the can.
Not the turkey.
That's my number one.
Yeah,
I like that too.
But everything that you eat with it, who's only going to do one or the other? Let's be honest.
That's true.
True.
That's true.
You guys carry on.
No, that's okay. We'll send it over to you guys.
We'll forge ahead.
Well, now at 5 new details after a woman is forced to deliver her baby on the side of the highway.
A former CPS student who says he was abused by a gym teacher sharing his story publicly for the very first time.
Just one day before hundreds of people detained by ICE were set to walk free, a federal court is delaying their release. Thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Dawn Hasper.
And I'm Scott Schneider. We begin tonight with breaking news. Charges against a woman who was shot by a Border Patrol agent have been dismissed.
Leslie Moreno is live at the Dirksen Federal Courthouse with reaction tonight. Leslie.
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, it was a very short hearing in just minutes. The judge dismissed both cases with prejudice, meaning they cannot be refiled once again. Both Martinez and her co-defendant Reese and their family as well were present in that courtroom and appear to be extremely happy about the judge's ruling. All of this comes after months and months of the defense pushing back against federal prosecutors accusing agents of mishandling and even destroying key evidence. Martinez was shot several times on October 4th after Border Patrol agents said she rammed her SUV during a traffic stop in Brighton Park. Her attorneys have long argued that the physical evidence tells a very different story. The focus has been that federal Tahoe, the vehicle involved in the shooting. The defense says it was moved more than 1,000 miles away to Maine, then repaired and cleaned before they were ever even given a chance to inspect it. They claim any damage that could have shown what really happened is now gone, leaving them with only a few photos and small paint chips provided by the government. In earlier hearings, defense attorneys also pointed to text messages from the shooting agent allegedly bragging about firing 5 rounds and saying Martinez had 7 holes. They also say body camera video captures an agent yelling, "Do something, B," just seconds before shots were fired. Here's Martinez and her lawyer speaking just moments after the dismissal.
I want to thank the judges, all the parents that supported me, everybody that supported me. I'm just grateful for everything. Thank you for my attorneys. They did a great job. I'm so grateful for you guys, for my family in the background. I'm just happy. I'm excited, you know.
These agents were lying about what happened. Ms. Martinez never rammed anybody. These agents hit Ms. Martinez. These agents jumped out and shot Ms. Martinez, a U.S. citizen whose only crime was warning her fellow community members that ICE was in the neighborhood, acting in the way that multiple judges in this building have said is unlawful, and that is not a crime. She didn't deserve to be shot.
Martinez says it was a very difficult experience for her, but she's extremely happy with the outcome. She's really excited to be going home tonight to spend time with her family. For now, reporting live at the Dirksen building, Leslie Moreno, Fox 32 News.
Hundreds of people arrested during Operation Midway Blitz were supposed to be released tomorrow, but now that is in jeopardy. A federal appeals court just temporarily blocked a judge's ruling that ordered them to be set free on a $1,500 bond. This means no one is getting out at least until the next court hearing set for December 2nd.
Okay, so this was about as dreary as it gets as we take a live look at our magnificent skyline. The good news is that Sunday forecast, not only is it warm, but it looks like you've increased the sunshine for us.
Looking pretty good. That's right. So we're going to be nice and sunny for that Bears game on Sunday. We're still going to break into some sunshine by Saturday as well. But until then, the cloud cover, that's going to be sticking around. So your satellite and radar, it's showing that we have completely dry skies, just locked in with clouds. But we have had reports of drizzle around the region this afternoon and evening. That's going to continue for a few more hours and then come to an end during the overnight. Temperatures outside right now sitting in the mid to upper 40s. Typically for this time of the year, your average high is right around 46. So a lot of us were very close to that. And this evening, temperatures are going to hold rather steady. The cloud cover, that's going to linger as well. Tonight's temperatures are going to be running about 10 degrees above average, and that's putting us in the low to mid 40s. But we have a nice warm up going into this weekend, too. I'll show you that coming up.
The family of a man shot by Chicago police is demanding answers tonight.
He was shot during a chase and has been charged. Terrence Lee is here with his family's message.
Donna Scott, you will hear the pain in his mom's voice in just a bit, but Anthony Nelson has been charged with attacking an officer and having a gun as a repeat felon. This all started Tuesday morning in the Washington Park neighborhood. Police say they tried stopping him, but he ran away. An officer chased him down and shot him in an alley off 56 in South Michigan. Police say they found a gun at the scene. But Nelson's family says police narratives around his arrest have been inconsistent, and they want to know why he was stopped in the first place.
I was on the phone. His sister was on the phone. We heard them harassing my son. We heard them say, give me the bag, give me the bag, give me the bag. What bag? Why is you harassing him? He's minding his own business. He's trying to get back to his baby. He got 3 beautiful little girls that love him dearly. All I want y'all to do is let my son go. Let him come back to us. Because y'all almost took him from us for no reason. Today is his birthday. We're supposed to be celebrating with him right now.
Nelson's family also says no one has given them any updates on his condition. The officer involved in the shooting is on administrative duties for at least 30 days, which is department policy. Scott.
Terrence, thank you for that. A former CPS student alleges in court documents that he was sexually abused for several years by a PE teacher at his elementary school.
Now he is speaking out. The Board of Education settled with the man who is now an adult earlier this year, but a civil case against the accused perpetrator is still happening.
Kasey Chronis live in the newsroom with this TV exclusive. Kasey.
Hi, Don and Scott. While CPS settled for $1.1 million with the former student over the summer, that man who wishes to remain anonymous and who we are calling John Doe says he feels it is time to come forward. He says he wants accountability and hopes to inspire others. We've reached out to the accused PE teacher, who we are told no longer works for CPS, and his attorney, but have not yet heard back. According to a civil complaint filed last year, John Doe says he was abused by Isaac Vega sexually, physically, and mentally beginning in the mid-90s. Doe went to Carl von Linne Elementary School on the city's northwest side, and that's when documents allege Vega started grooming the boy. At the same time, he was in 6th grade and tells us that he and his family were vulnerable. The complaint goes on to say that Vega gained the boy's trust, and roughly 1 year later, the abuse started.
My mom was extremely ill. My father passed at a very young age. We had no father figure in our life, no guidance. My mom could not raise 2 boys on her own, and he saw an opportunity to take advantage, and he did. He then 10 times did even more with the verbal, the mental, the physical abuse, the threats that became reality. When I look back at everything that happened in those 5, 6, 7 years, there's no reason why this man should be walking the streets freely.
An assignment hearing in the civil case against Vega is scheduled for December 1st. John Doe's attorney, Mark Brown, says Doe was manipulated and states in court documents that the abuse lasted for roughly 5 years. He says part of why his client wanted to come forward was to prevent this from happening again.
That concern is one of the reasons why we're going to trial against him, is so that he will be exposed and maybe someone else in the future will be prevented from going through what our client went through. He wants to make sure that people know what a monster this guy is. It's not about getting compensation from him. He probably doesn't have very much that we're going to get.
Again, we made several attempts to reach Vega and his attorney for a response to these allegations. At this point, no criminal charges have been filed against him. We also reached out to CPS for a statement, but are still waiting for a response. Doe originally filed this civil suit back in 2019. Dawn.
Kasey, thank you. Mayor Brandon Johnson is calling an attack on a CTA Blue Line an isolated incident. On Monday, a woman was set on fire by a fellow passenger. That man now facing federal charges. Well, here's what the mayor had to say about the investigation.
The level of accountability that has to happen in this moment, I trust that the federal level will do its part. What I can say is that as awful and as horrific as this tragedy is, this is as an isolated incident. As we continue to invest more in our public transportation system, we want people to feel safe as they ride.
50-year-old Lawrence Reed is charged with terrorism against a mass transportation system. Prosecutors say he was on pretrial release for an aggravated battery case and has several prior cases in his criminal history. The Cook County Board unanimously approved a $10 million budget for 2026. The good news, there are no tax hikes or additional fees. Board President Tony Preckwinkle says the budget was balanced without layoffs, tax increases, or cuts to essential services. She's calling it a response to sweeping cuts and ongoing chaos at the federal level and protection against, quote, President Trump's cuts. Cook County State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke says while the county and city has made steps in reducing violent crime, her office is still not satisfied, adding there is much more work to be done. But she says this budget is a positive step that allows her office to, quote, build on that progress, modernize our capabilities, and improve our effectiveness in the courtroom on behalf of the victims of crime. The Cook County Board also approving funding today to improve transportation. We'll break down just some of the towns getting the money. Barrington Township will get $250,000 to resurface roads. Skokie is getting nearly $2 million that will go toward professional design engineering services for a future reconstruction project. And River Grove will get more than $500,000 for road resurfacing and sidewalk reconstruction.
A call today on Illinois state lawmakers to immediately freeze all property tax hikes statewide. Former state senator Ricky Hendon calling on legislators to take action to ease the tax burdens on homeowners, particularly on Chicago's south and west sides where bills have gone up dramatically. Hendon says he will travel to Springfield and will seek a meeting with Governor Pritzker, where he will insist that tax increases are not only frozen, but that any assessments are adjusted to last year's levels.
We believe there is no way a person should not be able to appeal these taxes right now. Right now. When you get your bill is when you should be able to appeal your taxes, not a year ahead of time.
Hendon also wants the interest rates slashed by 50%, along with reasonable payment plans spread out over the course of a year, and a circuit breaker program that kicks in if an individual's taxes go up by 25% or more.
Still ahead, doctors are making a push to change the rules for lung cancer checks. We'll tell you why.
And recalled baby formula reportedly still being sold on store shelves.
Family, friends, lawmakers, and other VIPs gathering at Washington National Cathedral to pay their respects to former Vice President Dick Cheney. He's considered one of the most polarizing yet influential figures in American politics. He was a force in the Republican Party. He served as Defense Secretary, White House Chief of Staff, and as a Wyoming congressman. As the nation's 46th vice president, he played a leading role in the response to September 11th, including the war on terror and invasion of Iraq, all while battling heart problems. Former President George W. Bush remembering his vice president today as a man of character, devoted to protecting the country.
You did not know Dick Cheney unless you understood his greatest concerns and ambitions were for his country. Across 40 years, his service was consistent, faithful, and noble.
Cheney remained out of politics in recent years, but he became one of the most prominent Republicans to oppose President Trump, and last year said he would cast his vote for then Vice President Kamala Harris. He died at 84 years old earlier this month from complications from pneumonia and heart disease. More than a month after reporting to prison, former Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan has officially been disbarred. Madigan, who was once the most powerful man in Illinois politics, was convicted on bribery, conspiracy, and wire fraud charges in February. The 83-year-old was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison and fined $2.5 million. Madigan is appealing his conviction.
Today marks 50 years since Roger Aguirre disappeared from his Chicago apartment. Now, decades later, his family is still searching for answers, and they say they still have hope. Aguirre's family revealing the Cook County Sheriff's Office is conducting more DNA tests with family members in an effort to determine if he has been found. They are still searching for his best friend, Ernest, whom they believe has information that could help locate Aguirre. The family urges anyone with information to call the Cook County Sheriff's Office.
An ice cream shop in Bronzeville is warning it might close down after being hit by burglars. Police say suspects broke through the front door of Sean Michelle's Homemade Ice Cream on 47th Street and stole cash register and safes. This happened overnight. The owners of the family-owned business say the financial loss may lead them to permanently close their doors. But people have been posting on social media encouraging others to support them.
More babies are being impacted by an outbreak of botulism. Officials say the baby formula linked to the outbreak is still being sold. It has now reached some 31 babies, including right here in Illinois, and it is connected to By Heart Whole Nutrition formula. The source of contamination still uncertain, but By Heart has recalled all of its products and is telling anybody who already has them, throw them away.
President Trump responding to a video of Democratic veterans in Congress that urged military members to refuse illegal orders. He posted the comments on Truth Social today, calling the video dangerous. He says the video is seditious behavior that is punishable by death. Democratic leaders in Congress are pushing back, saying his comments are disturbing.
He is throwing a match into a country filled with political extreme gasoline. It is dangerous. It is devastating.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has made it clear now that the president does not want anyone to be executed.
All right. Is it time to make daylight saving time permanent in the U.S.? Lawmakers are once again revisiting that question in Washington. So let's go over the pros for daylight saving time. You get more daylight in the evening. That saves on energy because you're using less artificial lighting. That also gives safety a boost, especially for students heading to school. Now, the cons, there's health risks like disrupting sleep patterns and circadian rhythms, and of course, public confusion.
Most people I talk to would like to have a set time that doesn't change. But unfortunately, we have not been able to come up with any consensus on the best solution of how to do that.
I do believe the evidence is clear. It's time for us to decide on one standard and to just stick with it. But what should that standard be?
Well, the nation came close to making daylight saving time permanent in 2022 when the Senate unanimously passed the Sunshine Protection Act, but the House never took up the measure. While any change requires congressional approval, 19 states have passed laws calling for permanent daylight saving time. And that is if the federal government allows it. Dawn.
All right. Thanks, Terrence. What say you, Emily? I don't know. I kind of like more, the lighter evenings, obviously.
I like that,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't want to be in a situation where we're not dealing with the sun coming up in the morning until the 8, close to 9 o'clock hour, and that's how it
Well, when they tried it here in the 70s, that's what people complained about, because it was dark until like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it would be so hard to just like wake up and get your day going when it's that dark. So I don't know. I guess if I had to choose, I don't mind the way it is, but everybody has their own opinions. Temperatures out there right now, mid to upper 40s is where we're sitting, and we're not going to change all that much throughout the overnight. Very similar to last night, our temperatures are not going to change all that much. So throughout the next 48 hours, many of us are only going to be dropping down into the low to mid 40s, and then tomorrow we're going to rebound into the upper 40s again. So we're still not looking at much fluctuation when it comes to our temperatures. We'll have cloudy skies tonight. Tomorrow, near and south of I-80, we do have a chance for a couple scattered rain showers. Most areas north of I-80 are just going to be locked in with the cloud cover again. Upper 40s for your highs tomorrow. And then going into Saturday, we're waking up chilly in the 30s, but that's seasonable for this time of the year. Your normal low temperature sits pretty close to the freezing mark, and then during the afternoon hours of Saturday, things look good. We're back to seeing some sunshine, a high of 50. On Sunday for the Bears game, we're going to have sunny skies, 56 degrees for the high, and then we're going to see scattered rain showers on Monday and Tuesday.
Buckle up, football fans. It's time now for Toyota Talks.
Let's bring in Adam Hogue from CHGO. I had former Bears snapper, a guy that you know well, Pat Manley, on the show Monday. He and I agreed on the Bears MVP up till this point. Take a stab at who you think we picked, and who would you pick?
Was it Joe Thuney?
You're close, man. Very good. We actually picked the entire offensive line. Nice work.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it is something, going back to what we were just talking about a few minutes ago, just about it being refreshing that the Bears are back in playing meaningful games in November. It's the style of which they're playing, too. Is it perfect on offense? No. I mean, I think there's a lot of different areas you can still clean up, especially when it comes to catching the football. But up front, just look at the way the game ended in Minnesota, right? It's third down. They got to pick up more yards to make it a more comfortable field goal. I think most people are probably thinking they're going to throw it there. Not Ben Johnson. He leans on his offensive line to run a bread and butter run play, and they pick up enough yards to make a manageable field goal for Cairo Santos. That's having trust in those old linemen up front. I think it's been really refreshing to see the way that those guys have come along, started to gel a little bit. There is a rhythm to the run game and how these guys block up front together, especially when it comes to combination blocks. I still think there's moments where it could be better, but just this sort of physical smash mouth football, I'm really enjoying watching it, whether it's live or later when we're going through the tape after these games. It's really, honestly, it's really fun to watch.
New details on the deadly UPS plane crash in Louisville, Kentucky.
NTSB reporting, or releasing rather, dramatic images. The engine flying off 2 weeks ago, just before the crash, according to a preliminary report. A critical mount that kept that left engine attached to the plane failed moments after takeoff. The 3 crew members on board the plane, along with 11 people on the ground, killed after that plane went down and burst into flames.
The federal immigration crackdown centered around Charlotte, North Carolina is now over less than a week after beginning. Federal officials confirm Operation Charlotte's Web has ended after hundreds of arrests. Border Patrol agents are now turning their attention toward New Orleans for an operation they're calling Swamp Sweep. As many as 250 federal troops could arrive as soon as tomorrow. The operation is expected to begin next month.
This is a bizarre story. An animal rescue group. Check out this gator. A woman in Detroit made a shocking discovery. The group says she found this gator under the bed of her late son. Apparently, it was his pet. And experts say it wasn't being properly cared for, but was in good shape despite the circumstances.
You can see how big he is. He is not friendly. I just know what I'm doing. I'm not restraining him. It was in an aquarium, a 6-foot-long aquarium. It had no room to move, no water, no heat, no light. I don't know how it's in this good a shape. It was in horrible conditions. So please think twice before getting a pet that's illegal or dangerous.
Well, the good news for the gator, it's being moved to a sanctuary in Florida.
A new immersive classroom in Arizona is taking students on a new adventure through the world of science, all thanks to this new virtual reality mobile classroom. Inside this 46-foot trailer, middle school students pop up their VR sets, they put them on, and for 15 minutes, they transform into field biologists. The mission to solve problems in an alien ecosystem and help endangered species. Educators say the immersive program has led to more engaged students, higher attendance, and more homework getting done, all because the students are having fun.
Amazement, excitement, and a bit of confusion because this is a world I'm unused to, but I'm learning in, and it's just good emotion.
The fact that we can even give this to them from all the backgrounds that they have and actually get them excited about wanting to be at school and learn about science.
The virtual reality mobile classroom is the first of its kind in the state of Arizona.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Ah! Oh my God!
Okay, first of all, this is not Chicago. Don't panic. It was a busy road in New York, though. The woman behind the wheel on her way to LaGuardia when, as you saw, that rat appeared out of nowhere. Eventually, it did, poor thing, fall off the car.
Gross. The busy holiday travel peak just around the corner.
Ahead of the crowds, the Transportation Department launching a new campaign to cut down on the stress we feel on planes.
Jalen Johnson makes a full return to practice for the first time since returning from injury. And how can the Bears defense force Aaron Rodgers to make mistakes? We break it all down later in sports.
Welcome to
Now at the bottom of the hour, a set of twins from Chicago on a national stage, and they will have some very important company.
Northwestern doctors just flagged a gap in lung cancer screenings that could put you at risk.
First, a South suburban couple is grateful their baby girl is okay. Earlier this week, they told us how they were discharged from Franciscan Health Crown Point.
Yeah, just 8 minutes later, 8 minutes. Their 6-pound baby girl arrived, delivered inside their pickup truck.
Tonight, Tia Ewing shares more after spending time with the family at home.
Yeah, the good news here is that the little baby is doing just fine. Baby Alina, look how cute she is. We sat down with the couple and their newborn and learned new details about what they say happened inside the hospital. 38-year-old Mercedes Wells was already considered a high-risk pregnancy, and she says there were clear signs that baby Alina was on the way.
They treated me like I was less than human. So, yeah, it was, my water actually had broke while I was in the room. When I was in the bathroom, my water broke. And she still claimed that I was not in active labor.
She's talking about the nurse there. Leon Wells was getting ready for a work trip and didn't want to leave his wife Mercedes alone. So on their way back, she started having contractions in the truck. The couple called Franciscan Health Crown Point to say that they were coming, but they say the reception wasn't welcoming. Mercedes says she spent 6 hours there, and moments before discharge, her water broke. She says a nurse told her she wasn't dilated enough, and they never saw a doctor. 8 minutes after being wheeled out, Leon delivered their baby girl in the family pickup truck on the highway. The hospital issued a statement acknowledging disparities in health care and saying an investigation is underway. But the couple now questions how, since they have never been contacted.
They claim that they're doing an investigation, but I'm a part of the investigation. They haven't reached out to me. They haven't tried to speak with me. They haven't had, they haven't reached out for a meeting. So how are they doing an investigation?
Yeah, we retained a lawyer, but we don't want to go there. I mean, just talk to us. That's all we asking. Let's be, let's get to the bottom of this together. We don't have to be adversaries.
Alina is healthy, as you can see, but the family says the system isn't, and they want hospital protocols changed so no other parents face what they did. Terrence?
And Tia, I just looked up the meaning of Alina. Her name means light, bright, and shining one, too. I was curious what the name meant. All right. Northwestern doctors say a lot of people who get lung cancer never even get the chance to be checked. They looked at nearly 1,000 cases and say most have been turned away under today's rules. Think about that. Only 1/3 of those patients qualified for a simple scan. That means most families never got a heads up until the cancer showed itself. Doctors say the scan takes 10 seconds and shows a clear picture of what's going on inside. They say starting checks at 40 could catch 94% of cases and save tens of thousands of lives a year. That is why they keep pushing this. And if you think this only hits smokers, listen to this Chicago mom who learned she had lung cancer even with perfect checkups.
We're seeing more and more young women, non-smokers, coming into the office now. And this is no longer uncommon. Lung cancer in healthy young women is becoming more and more frequent.
Doctors say the old rules focus on smoking and miss what they see every day. They keep seeing people who never qualify for checks but still got cancer. One Northwestern surgeon says the numbers make that impossible to ignore.
What we have observed is many patients now who are developing respiratory conditions, particularly lung cancer, they don't meet the guidelines that have been set.
The doctors want national rules to change so people can catch problems earlier. They say one quick scan could save families more time and give them more time and help them avoid a late surprise. Scott.
All right, Terrence, appreciate that. So if you joined us last night, Emily gave us a bit of an ominous warning. Enjoy the warmth while it lasts, because Thanksgiving week, we're sort of getting back to reality.
Back to reality, but it's going to be even colder than what reality typically is for us at the end of November. So yes, we're going to stay above average here for the next several days, even the beginning of next work week. Things are looking fine in the 50s, but then by Thanksgiving Day itself, it looks like we start to see a much colder air mass moving in. That's going to bring in high temperatures that are only in the 30s. And then I think that's going to last through the weekend following Thanksgiving as well. So right now, here's the view. We have cloudy skies, calm winds, 48 degrees, and temperatures tonight. They're not going to change all that much. Right now, most areas are sitting in the mid to upper 40s, and then we're going to be dropping down to the low to mid 40s during the overnight. But your average for this time of the year is 32 degrees. So a lot of us, we're staying about 10 degrees above average when it comes to your overnight low temperatures. So when you step out the door tomorrow morning, it's going to feel about the same as what we had today. We're going to have cloudy skies. Temperatures are going to be in the 40s. By 10, we're still mostly cloudy. Temperatures right around 47. For those of you near and south of I-80, you do have a chance of scattered rain showers. After that, we're going to dry things out just in time for the weekend with some sunshine and highs in the 50s. Back to you.
Thanks, Emily. Thousands of young people hung out with the Pope today, and a local set of twins was front and center. It was a live stream encounter this morning from St. Benedict Parish, Chicago, during the National Catholic Youth Conference. Twin sisters Cameron and Petra Caprio, who are very active with their parish, were on stage during a conversation with Pope Leo XIV. Look at their T-shirts, by the way, so cute. The conference includes 3 days of worship, music, and fun for more than 20,000 people, 15,000 of them between 14 and 18. The girls are seniors and have been very active. They were selected to review the questions prepared for the Pope's live stream.
It feels really amazing. I mean, it was definitely a transformative experience, and it's just something that means a lot to us. Our faith is something that's so important to us, and as teens, like within a Chicago public school and within Chicago, it is really important for the Pope to hear us and understand us. And we're really excited to see the different conversations, the different people who are going to be talking to us, and what lessons we can take away from that. I'm excited for that as well.
In case you're wondering, they say they are not identical. I know. The twins are looking at a number of Jesuit Catholic colleges so they can continue to have an impact in college like they have in high school. As a twin, you know I look for that. I'm like, wait a minute, they look so much alike. Still ahead, some of the busiest travel days of the year are almost here, and that means patience can run thin.
However, the government is trying to change that. We'll tell you about the new plan. Chicago. Well, some of the busiest travel days of the year are upon us. And as we like to say around here, it's time to pack your patience.
So many travelers, however, don't. And it is leading, as you know, to viral meltdowns and a miserable time for the rest of us. Rebecca Castor has more on the Transportation Department's new campaign to bring civility back to the travel experience.
From brawls at baggage claim to unruly passengers, you can't do this. The skies have gotten a lot less friendly over the years. And the data proves it, with a 400% increase in in-flight outbursts since 2019 and over 13,000 passenger incidents since 2021.
I think part of it is we're all being crammed together. You combine that with stressed passengers, delays, cancellations, and it's a recipe for disaster.
A recipe Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is hoping to change by launching a new civility campaign titled "The Golden Age of Travel Starts With You."
Help people out, be in a good mood, dress up, bring civility back to travel. And I think everyone's experience is going to be that much better.
Travelers see the need.
I think it's become more acceptable for people to just be mean, and other people just feel like they're supposed to be able to say what they want, do what they want, when they want, and everybody else is supposed to take it.
We just could all be a little bit nicer to each other and think about being a little less frustrated.
But some travel experts say passengers aren't the only ones who need an etiquette lesson.
I don't want to let the airlines off the hook for this completely. They have some responsibility here too to passengers, and we're moving away from sort of this European model of compensating passengers for delays and cancellations and things like that. And so, I think everyone has a part to play in making the skies friendlier.
And Thanksgiving week will be a major test, with AAA predicting more than 6 million people to fly over the holiday. At Reagan National Airport, Rebecca Castor, Fox 32 Chicago.
Another cloudy day. Don't despair. We just got to get to the weekend.
The sun should be shining, and we should be warming up as well. Emily's forecast after the break.
I'm Lou Cadella's First Place Bears turning into must-see TV, especially when they go up against the Packers. I'll tell you about the game time change coming up. And a world champion Chicago Bulls stopped by our studios today. There he is. Horace Grant admits why he left Michael Jordan, his best friend Scottie Pippen, and the Bulls. I'll talk with Horace next in sports.
Look at this.
So most of the animals at the shed, of course, have scales, but the newest arrival is a two-toed sloth. Goes by the name of alface. That means lettuce in Portuguese, which was the first solid food that she ate. And Portuguese is her native language in South America. So right now she's exploring her private habitat, but eventually she will become an ambassador at the shed. I went to a sloth sanctuary in Costa Rica, and I learned that they sometimes can go a whole month without using the facilities. Everything slows down when you're a sloth.
And they turn green because, you know, they get all of the algae on them because they don't move very fast, as you've heard.
They're so cute.
And so they blend in and they don't, you know, get eaten by predators as much.
Yeah.
Did you see the how long that yawn was at the beginning?
Everything is slower.
They move really slow.
The yawn, it was almost catchy, though. I almost caught it. Yeah.
What's the movie, Sing? What's the movie the sloth is in?
Yeah. Is it Sing?
I don't think it's
No,
Sing.
no, Zootopia. Thank you, Sloan, our producer.
Good job, Sloan.
Yeah.
That really is a good one. You should have Maeve watch it.
Sloths are cool.
Learn a lot about sloths in that movie.
Yeah. I feel like a sloth today.
This weather does not help. No sun.
It's not helping at all. So we've been gloomy for the last several days. That's going to continue for at least one more day. And then going into this weekend, we should start to see some improvements. We're going to see decreasing cloud cover going into your Saturday. And then by Sunday, it's going to be plenty of sunshine. Latest drought monitor that came out this morning, and it's largely unchanged from what we were seeing last week. So we're still in really good shape down near the state line with Indiana and Illinois over into northwest Indiana. Newton, Jasper County continually abnormally dry, and then a good portion of northeastern Illinois is still considered to be in a moderate or severe drought. So we haven't really changed all that much. And as far as rain chances go, we have some rain chances for those of you near and south of I-80, which actually really isn't the area that needs the rain the most. That's going to come our way tomorrow, and then we have another chance of rain early next week. But our temperatures are going to continue to bump upwards. So tomorrow we're going to be in the upper 40s to near 50 degrees, 50 on Saturday, mid-50s expected on Sunday, same thing on Monday and Tuesday, but rain chances are going to return Monday night and then sticking around into Tuesday as well. Satellite and radar, things are quiet for now, but we have had areas of drizzle being reported out there today. That should come to an end tonight, and then we have that cold front coming through. Rain is going to surge to the north tomorrow, so areas near and south of I-80 have the best chance of rain on your Friday. Finally, high pressure is going to build in, clear out all of this cloud cover, and we're going to be in really nice shape going into this upcoming weekend. Temperatures are also going to respond nicely going into the weekend too because of all of that sunshine. So on Saturday, we're going to be right around 50 degrees. On Sunday for the Bears game, looking great. I think by kickoff, we're going to be in the low to mid 50s. Nothing but sunshine during the game, so things are going to be really nice out there. Temperatures likely going to top out right around 55, 56 degrees at Soldier Field. For tonight, 42, we'll have 5 to 15 mile per hour winds. Your 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, 49, 50, partly cloudy on Saturday, Sunday, lots of sun. Then Monday night into Tuesday, we have showers returning. But notice how temperatures drop off in a really big way by Thanksgiving Day on Thursday with a high of 35.
All right, well, the Bears still sitting pretty atop the NFC North, but it's a long road ahead.
Their next big test, Aaron Rodgers, but will he be taking the field? Lou is here with more.
Personally, I hope he will, Dawn, because I'm such a Bears fan. Bears lead the NFC North, Steelers the AFC North. But the bigger storyline is Aaron Rodgers missing what likely will be his final game at Soldier Field. Rodgers suffered a small fracture in his left hand. Last Sunday it happened. Even at 41 years old, he had played nearly all of the Steelers' snaps before the injury. Didn't practice yesterday, but Kasey Chronis tells us if he practiced today. And are the Bears preparing as if he'll play Sunday?
Aaron Rodgers was a limited participant in practice on Thursday, wearing a stabilizer on his left wrist, and the Bears are preparing as if the four-time MVP will be playing on Sunday.
Legend quarterback, so definitely look forward going up against him. You know, my only goal this week is to get an interception, so definitely would sit at the top of my trophy case.
He's got a really quick release, gets the ball out of his hands. It's hard to get to him. He gets the ball out of his hands really quickly. He throws the ball accurate, good timing, all those kinds of things. So he plays a cerebral game at the quarterback position.
While the Bears will try to put pressure on Rodgers, their three starting linebackers, Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, and Noah Sewell, missed a second straight day of practice, while Jalen Johnson was a full participant for the first time since his practice window opened.
They're good players. And so getting those guys back out on the field and getting them going, I think is going to help our defense. And so we're excited about having them out there. Both those guys, look good right now.
When I got here, these was the guys that was here. We built the bond, definitely worked hard, and it's been like the last 2 years with these guys. So I'm definitely comfortable with playing. So just having them back just means that the band is back together.
Meantime, the Bears offense will have to account for Steelers pass rushers T.J. Watt and Nick Herbig, who have 12.5 sacks combined.
They have elite get-off, both edge players. They're really good, and he gets the football out. That's really the biggest thing about their defense is the takeaways that show up. But he's a guy that you have to account for in every snap. We've gone against these guys a few different times, and that's always been kind of a key to their defense is the edge players and the get-off.
And in scheduling news, the Bears' Week 14 matchup against the Packers in Green Bay has been flexed to 3:25 on Fox. At Hallis Hall, Kasey Carlson, Fox 32 Sports.
Down to 4. Game on the line right here. He takes Murray. He ducks under. Vooch for the win. Voochie Maine has done it again. Put some respect on Voochie Maine's name. Bang, bang, bang. Late game killer. The Cardiac Bulls do it again. We had a cardiac arrest in the third, but we're back. Oh my goodness.
Oh, don't you love Stacey King? Bulls almost blew a 21-point third-quarter lead, but Niko Vucevic threw in the game winner to beat Portland last night. Bulls host the Heat Friday, then celebrate their 2025 Ring of Honor class on Saturday. John Paxson, Bill Cartwright, assistant coach Johnny Bach, the late Norm Van Leer, and broadcaster Neil Funk join Horace Grant, who won three championships, that is, but then signed as a free agent with the Orlando Magic. Did you follow the money to Orlando, or did Horace Grant need to get out of the shadow of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen?
No. I followed, it was a business decision. Strictly business. To get out of Michael and Scottie's shadow, I only had to put on the goggles. I became Horace Grant. I always been in the shadow. I love it. I absolutely love it. And when I go and do my job, and I know how important I am to each team I play for.
Yeah, much more of my candid conversation with Horace, our special guest on Chicago Sports Tonight. Also on the show, Kasey Carlson with the latest from Hallis Hall. That's coming up at 6 on the Fox Local app and at 9:30 here on Fox 32 Chicago. Blackhawks back on the ice tonight against Seattle. Connor Bedard with 11 goals, including 2 hat tricks over his last 11 games. Tyler Bertuzzi expected to return after missing 2 games with an injury. We're back right after this.
Move over, cats and dogs. Raccoons may soon be ready to move into your homes.
Yeah, zoologists just published a new study, and it suggests that raccoons are becoming more domesticated. They say that the urban variety have shorter snouts. They've become more comfortable eating our trash, and that means their fight or flight instincts around us has decreased over time. And this is a trait that they are passing on to their offspring. I know Kaplan has entire families of them living on his back patio, so he can attest to that.
We had a whole family move into our home when we lived in Michigan, and it was a very, they were costly tenants. They were not welcome.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
They just make
look at that.
But they are so cute, though, aren't they?
I think they look like trouble.
Well, they do look, they are trouble, but they're just, they look cute. They look like they would be nice and friendly, you know?
Arm's length.
They don't agree.
Not even.
All right, 7-day forecast for you. Here's something that you'll agree on, I think. This weekend, it looks lovely. We're going to get rid of the cloud cover. Tomorrow, we're going to have a chance of scattered rain showers near and south of I-80. Otherwise, this weekend looks beautiful. The Bears game on Sunday looking great. We're going to be in the mid-50s. Lots of sunshine expected. Monday, daytime hours look good. And then we're going to add in some rain Monday night. It's going to linger into Tuesday. But temperatures drop off in a big way by Thursday for Thanksgiving. We're in the 30s.
All right, Emily, thank you. And thanks for joining us at 5.
Now you can stream us on your smart TV with Fox Local.
We're on all the platforms.
Family Feud is next. We'll see you back here at 9.
It's the year.
Over the last 55 years, only a handful of teams in the NFL have had more game-winning scores the final 2 minutes than the Bears this season. Kasey Chronis joins us from Hallis Hall, where Bears defensive coordinator Dennis Allen talked about defending against Aaron Rodgers. And offensive coordinator Declan Doyle shared his worries about the Steelers' pass rush. Then my conversation with former Bulls forward, 3-time world champ Horace Grant. Horace will be celebrated this weekend in the Bulls Ring of Honor. But he was honest and candid about his relationship with Scottie Pippen, Phil Jackson, and why he left the Bulls for the Orlando Magic. It's all now on Chicago Sports Tonight.
From Fox 32 Chicago Sports, this is Chicago Sports Tonight.
All right, let's start off the show with the latest injury news regarding Aaron Rodgers. He was a limited participant at Steelers practice today. Yes, this video is from earlier today in Pittsburgh. He was throwing with his left wrist in a stabilizer. Rodgers took his individual reps from the gun, but is still iffy for the game. Bears-Steelers matchup, one of two, along with the Rams and Buccaneers, that features division-leading teams this week. And this game against the Steelers, a game the Bears expect to win. They're favored at home, and it's payback time against Aaron Rodgers. Kasey Chronis joins us from Hallis Hall. All right, Kasey, it looks like Aaron Rodgers will give it a go Sunday. Are the Bears, to a man, not only the coaches, but the players, are they excited about this challenge?
Yeah, most definitely. It's kind of interesting to see kind of the disparity between a younger player in the league like Luther Burden, for example, who was in the locker room and didn't really have much to say about Aaron Rodgers or the known rivalry that existed between him and the Bears for so many years while he was in Green Bay. And then someone like Kevin Byard, who's well aware of the rivalry and said, of course, he wants to give Bears fans the opportunity to hold the bragging rights against Aaron Rodgers, even though he is in a later stage of life, now on the Steelers, no longer in Green Bay. But he was well aware of the 24-5 record Aaron Rodgers holds against the Bears. And he said he obviously wants to play against the best. He's a future Hall of Famer, and he says he wants to go out there and win. And then he wants to be able to shake his hand and ask him some questions after the game, and that's what Caleb Williams had to say too. So you can sense that the older guys definitely are familiar with what Aaron Rodgers means to this city and the history between them. The younger guys, I don't know that they care so much. So that's an interesting point there that we learned from some of the players. And then you talked about Aaron Rodgers getting back on the practice field today on Thursday, wearing some sort of stabilizer on his left wrist and hand. He had talked yesterday saying they were still working on figuring out how they were going to protect his left wrist, which has a fracture in it. So it seems like they're still working through that. But this team is preparing as if he is going to play on Sunday.
I'll tell you what, Kasey, it is a hot ticket. Aaron Rodgers coming back to Chicago, maybe his last game against the Bears at Soldier Field. How will the Bears defend Aaron Rodgers? We asked defensive coordinator Dennis Allen.
I still think he moves around in the pocket well. I don't know that he's creating the plays down the field as much with his legs like he did when he was a little younger, but he throws the ball. He's got a really quick release. Gets the ball out of his hands. It's hard to get to him. He gets the ball out of his hands really quickly. He throws the ball accurate, good timing, all those kinds of things. So he plays a cerebral game at the quarterback position, and that's challenging for us.
So the Bears have a plan for the 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers in this football game. What else did you learn from Dennis Allen over his press conference, Kasey, and how they may play Aaron Rodgers in this football game?
Well, Dennis Allen, back when he was with the Saints, played Aaron Rodgers back when he was with the Packers in 2021, and they held the Packers to 3 points in a 38-3 win. And in that game, Aaron Rodgers took 2 sacks, threw 2 interceptions, and only had 229 passing yards. And he said you have to be able to affect him in the pocket. And now that he's a little bit older, we know he doesn't want to get hit, especially as he is dealing with an injury. He doesn't want to get to the ground, have to brace himself with his left wrist. So I think that's going to be an emphasis of getting pressure on him. The thing that's tough with Aaron Rodgers being that he is 40 years old. He's one of those quarterbacks almost similar to Joe Flacco that Dennis Allen called him a cerebral quarterback. So he's so smart and knows everything that he's going to see so well. It's going to be hard to fool him in that sense, but definitely try to get pressure on him and try to force him to take some sacks would be the most important thing when facing him. And it's something that Ben Johnson alluded to yesterday when he was asked if Caleb Williams has any similarities to Rodgers. And he's like, no, because if you look at the stats, Aaron Rodgers, quickest time to throw, Caleb Williams, slowest time to throw.
Yeah, he gets the ball out quickly, to say the least. Did Dennis Allen talk at all about all the interceptions his defense have come up with so far this season?
Yeah, because I think we've talked about it on this show. Are they too opportunistic, or is the defense relying on it a little bit too much? And I think he's giving it a credit to the players and the assistant coaches who are showing tape and taking advantages of the opportunities that they're seeing on tape. And mind you, they don't have 3 of their best players on the field right now that they're hoping to get back in the next couple of weeks. So being opportunistic with getting the takeaways is part of their DNA at this point in the season. It allows them to be first in interceptions, first in turnover differential, and is allowing this offense to get back on the field and holding teams to fewer points than I think we would typically see, because they are not necessarily being as consistent in stopping the run or giving up these big play passes. So they're going to keep on pressing the turnover and trying to get takeaways in these games, because that is kind of what the defense is hanging their hat on. And even Kevin Byard talked about it yesterday, saying he could see it being described as a little opportunistic, and he could see where the questions come on if they are only relying on that, and that's what's making their defense so good. But they're going to take them if they come their way.
I'll tell you what, Cassie, Bears love to run the football. We know that by now through 10 games. Second in the NFL in rushing. There should be chances, though, for Caleb Williams to throw the football. Steelers have given up more passing yards per game than any other team in football. Caleb spoke yesterday. Declan Doyle, offensive coordinator, today. Did they talk about Caleb having success throwing the football against this Pittsburgh defense?
Well, I think when you look at the Pittsburgh defense, while they do give up a good amount of passing yards, they do have a really good pass rush. So you have to be able to have good protection. And I also think Caleb's going to have to be able to get the ball out fast, similarly to as we talk about Aaron Rodgers, because you look at TJ Watt and you look at Nick Herbig, who combined for 12.5 sacks, and Declan Doyle spoke on just the elite level of pass rush they provide for the Steelers defense. Here's what he had to say.
TJ Watt is slippery. He plays with high effort. They have elite get off, both edge players. They're really good, and he gets the football out. That's really the biggest thing about their defense is the takeaways that show up. But he's a guy that you have to account for on every snap. You know, we've gone against these guys a few different times, and that's always been kind of a key to their defense is the edge players and the get off.
So I think looking at this, not only is it going to be on Caleb Williams, you're looking at the tackles too between Darnell Wright and Theo Benedict, who are going to have their work cut out for them. An interesting note that Declan Doyle talked about was Caleb Williams making sure that he gets the proper amount of depth on his drop backs when he is in these situations, because they are coaching him to a T, and that also dictates the offensive line's protection. So he said a lot of it's on Caleb Williams to make sure if he's too far back in the pocket that he steps up so that the tackles and the interior of the offensive line can set up their protection in the right place and they're not getting confused on where their quarterback is.
Cassie, Vikings blitzed on 2/3 of Williams' throws last Sunday. Pittsburgh will bring it as well. I mean, they're 4th highest in the league when it comes to bringing the blitz. Are the Bears ready for it?
Well, I think you have to credit the Bears and Caleb Williams for how they've handled the blitz, especially when looking at Brian Flores over the history of his, 4 meetings against him. I mean, they blitzed on 2/3 of Caleb Williams' dropbacks. That's almost unheard of. And Ben Johnson was kind of taken aback when he heard that number, saying he doesn't know if he's ever experienced something like that. Declan Doyle, speaking about the Steelers blitzing today, said it's a totally different team. You have some of the same rules and same tells, but they are not going to kind of combine or try to say if the Vikings did this, so the Steelers are going to do this. He said 2 totally separate teams, 2 totally different coordinators. So while they have familiarity and experience going against a blitz-heavy team, they are not saying that they are going to be a similar blitzing team that they saw last week against the Vikings.
All right, how about an update on the injury situation?
Well, good to see Jaquan Brisker back on the field in some sort of way today. Still, all eyes are going to be on Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson as their 21-day practice windows are open. And then Dennis Allen was also asked the same question that Ben Johnson was asked about. What are you going to do when Kyler Gordon is healthy? And you also have C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who is on the field making a ton of plays. And he was like, listen, that is not a problem at all. Our job as coaches is to make sure that we are getting the right guys on the field. And when they have 2 players playing at such an elite level, that is a good problem that they want to have.
All right, we've talked about it all week, and I want to wrap up the conversation with you looking ahead to the playoffs, because at 7 wins right now, the Bears better make the playoffs, or they really caved in. The final, handful of games, 7 games this season. If they win against Pittsburgh, do you think a win over Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers would quiet the naysayers who claim the Bears' best win came against a bad 4-5-1 Dallas Cowboys team?
Well, I think they could also look at the Steelers' defense, which ranks, 28th, and say that they still haven't beaten a good defense. So I think that the naysayers... The naysayers will come up with as many excuses as possible. I still think the toughest stretch of the Bears' schedule doesn't start until that Black Friday game against the Philadelphia Eagles. But if you're talking about playoffs from the outside, that's one thing. If you're talking about how this team is doing playoffs, they are not talking about it at all. Kevin Byard was pretty straightforward yesterday, saying they haven't accomplished anything. No one cares about who you beat or how many games you win in September, October, November. He's like, sometimes they don't even care about December. It all matters in January. And I feel like that might be the case for this Bears team. Those week 17, week 18 games might be what their playoff call is riding on.
All right, I get it. It's been said, hey, the NFL playoff season really doesn't get going until after Thanksgiving. Kasey, thanks for checking in. We'll see you tomorrow on the show and Bears Blitz as well, all right? Up next, three-time NBA champ with the Bulls, Horace Grant. Four-time NBA champ. Remember, he won a title with the Lakers as well. Big Horace, good friend, joins us in studio before being honored this weekend by the Bulls. Stay with us. Welcome back to CST. Luke and Ellis with you. Hey, it's always special when I can reconnect with some of the world champion Bulls I had a relationship with during the 6 titles run back in the 1990s. Horace Grant stopped by our studios today. Horace is one of the nicest, more down-to-earth athletes I've ever met. A guy who, even after he got LASIK eye surgery, he still wore his goggles to make kids with glasses feel better about themselves. Yeah, just a true great guy. Today, Horace lives in Northern California, but he's here in Chicago to promote his new television series. It's called Legends in Session, and Saturday, Horace will be inducted into the Chicago Bulls Ring of Honor. Hey, man, great to see you. We go way back, all right, going back to the 80s when he was in town coming out of Clemson. Congratulations on the honor of being inducted into the Ring of Honor. How does that feel?
I mean, thanks for having me, Lou. In terms of being honored and humble to be selected in the Chicago Bulls Hall of Fame, man. You know, Michael and Scotty's already there. And, you know, with me, well, myself, John Paxson, Bill Cartwright, Neil Funk, Chet Walker, Johnny Bach. It's breathtaking, man. It's such an honor, and I thank the Chicago Bulls every day.
On behalf of all the Bulls fans out there, thank you. I mean, and you hear that often, don't you? You come back to Chicago, you love coming back to this city because you were so embraced.
Since 1987, when I got off that plane here in Chicago, the fans and the city have welcomed me with open arms, man. and to help win the first 3 championships, man, it was just more love.
Why do you think? Yeah, I told you just before I came to you came here to the studio, and I told you I was going to interview you. I had some guys say, "Is he going to be wearing the goggles?" What was it about Horace Grant and Chicago that worked, and Bulls fans that worked?
Well, if you know anything about Chicago, Chicago is just a no-nonsense, hard-working people type of city. And that's what I brought. You know, I brought that lunch bucket, hard hat type of work ethic. And I think we just mesh just like this.
I remember when you came to town and you and Scotty were inseparable. You guys were best friends.
Still is. We talk almost every week, sometimes twice a week, just about, you know, what you're doing and how you're doing. And we talk about the game today compared to the game when we played. You know, just my best friend.
Yeah, for sure. And as your best friend, do you ever, I mean, sometimes, man, he's so negative. And he goes after MJ. Why is he so bitter with MJ?
I don't know why he's bitter. I wouldn't say bitter. Some of the things that he said, I told him, man, you know, chill with that. Yeah, chill. We have such a great relationship that I could go to him and say, man, that's too much. And, you know, he'll be, you know, a little grumpy. Scott, no, yo, dog, that's a little bit too much. So, and, you know, Scott is his own person, but I think at our age now.
Is he going to chill?
He should.
He should. Horace needs to tell him to chill. Because you guys were family. You guys brought the first 3 championships. You, Scotty, Michael, Pax, Bill Cartwright.
Yes.
I mean, you guys brought such joy to Bulls fans. So truthfully, I get it. Scotty's outspoken. I know Scotty. But I think it hurts Bulls fans when they hear him talk negatively about Michael.
Well, I think just when he says things, you know, Scott is a very emotional person. When he say things to a certain degree to negative about MJ, you have to take it with a grain of salt because, you know, without MJ, there's no Pip. Without Pip, there's no MJ. Without the role players, I don't think we win the first 3 championships.
All right, I want you to talk to me about Phil Jackson, because I remember when Phil used to ride this guy. But, and be honest with me, Horace, his wisdom, his teaching moments back then helped you as a man, didn't they?
Absolutely. You know, there's not one negative thing I could ever say about Phil Jackson. I remember him calling me in his office quite a few times. The first time it was telling me, Horace, you know, I'm going to lean on you this year. I'm like, you know, yeah. I have no problem with that. He said, but because I can't yell at Scotty or Michael, but I'm going to be talking to them through you. I said, you know, that's no problem. I didn't realize it was going to be for 7 years. I thought it was going to be 1 year. Right. But he taught me how to become the best role player I can possibly be. He was like, you know, shoot the jumper if you're out of the open, but we want you to play defense and rebound. You do those things, we'll win. Yeah. So,
and sure enough, you guys did.
Yeah. Listen, he brought me into his office one time. And he said, Horace, we're going to draft a young man who's going to be a threat to your job. they were drafting Stacy.
Yeah.
And I said, Phil, I shook his hand. I said, thank you for being honest. Man, I never worked out so hard that summer with Al Vermeil, the strength coach back then. Never worked out. And I said to myself, if Stacy's gonna come in and challenge me for my job, if he wins, he's the better person for my position. But it's not gonna be easy. But we had some battles, and unfortunately, I kept my position.
That a boy. I need to tell you this because I've thought about it since you were in Chicago and I was doing the Bulls, back on the radio and TV back in the early 90s, and you left. And it was crushing for me as someone who worked in the media but who was part of the Bulls family because I knew you were so important to what the Bulls were trying to accomplish. And I will never forget standing there with Neil Funk, all right, Game 6, you're wearing an Orlando Magic uniform with the goggles, and you guys knock MJ and the Bulls out of the playoffs. The first playoff series Michael Jordan had ever lost. And I remember you being on the shoulders of your teammates, Shaq, Penny Hardaway, Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott. Do you remember that moment when you guys knocked MJ and the Bulls out of the playoffs? Michael had just come back, remember? Right. He had come back, played his first game in Indiana, but you guys beat the Bulls in that 7-game series in 6 games. Do you remember that moment?
Of course I do. Whenever you beat guys like Michael and Scotty in a series, of course you're going to remember that. And, I look at the team that I was on with a young Shaq, a Penny Hardaway, Nick Anderson, who's from Chicago, a three-point shooter like Dennis Scott. I felt very, very proud of that team, and I felt that we could, if anybody could beat that Chicago Bulls team, that we could.
All right, I want you to be honest with me here. Did you follow the money to Orlando, or did Horace Grant need to get out of the shadow of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen?
No. I followed, it was a business decision. Strictly business. And to get out of Michael and Scottie's shadow, I only had to put on the goggles. I became Horace Grant.
Yeah?
Yeah. But throughout my career, Lou, I played with MJ Pip. I played with Shaq Penny, Shaq Kobe, Gary Payton out in Seattle for that 1 year. I always been in the shadow. I love it. I absolutely love it. And when I go and do my job, and I know how important I am to each team I play for.
You don't leave, there's no Dennis Rodman here in Chicago. And you might win 3 more championships. Any regrets about not being around for those 3 other championships?
Well, I went on a journey. My journey took me to play with some great
sure
Hall of Famer players. But if I had known Michael was coming back, I probably would have stayed.
Special thanks to Horace for coming in, and congratulations to Horace Grant on this great honor. We'll be right back with more Chicago Sports Tonight after the break. Welcome back to Chicago Sports Tonight Daily. Luke and Ellis with you. A reminder for tomorrow's show. We'll have Tina Ewing from Hallis Hall to find out which Bears are playing and who isn't against the Steelers. NFL Network's Jamie Erdahl will give us the national perspective for Week 12. And Nick Costos from BetMGM with his best plays for the busy weekend of football. Now, before we say goodbye, more Bears news today. The December 7th game against the Packers at Lambeau Field has been flexed from a noon kickoff to 3:25 right here on your home of the Bears, Fox 32 Chicago. That is Week 14 in the NFL schedule. A lot of eyes on that game with playoff implications on the line. All right, special thanks to Horace Grant for joining us here in studio today, and Cassie, who is at Hallis Hall with the Bears news. Until tomorrow, see ya.
Tonight, a stunning reversal. The feds drop all charges against a Chicago woman accused initially of an armed assault on federal agents with her car. The case fell apart in court. Federal terrorism charges for the man who allegedly burned a woman at a Loop CTA stop. Why the U.S. attorney brought this case. Republican Congressman Darren LaHood on what's next for the release of the Epstein files. And could your political views be influenced by where you live? A new study from Northwestern has the answer. Welcome to the Chicago Report. I'm Paris Schutz. The Department of Justice drops all charges against two Chicagoans accused of assaulting federal immigration agents by ramming their cars during a standoff in Brighton Park on October 4th. The judge dismisses the case with prejudice, meaning it cannot be brought again. Now, an initial narrative from the Department of Homeland Security accused Chicagoan Marimar Martinez of being armed and part of a 10-car convoy, but those claims completely fell apart in court, which led to today's stunning dismissal. Now, Martinez spoke at the Dirksen Federal Building right after the ruling.
I just want to thank the judges, all the parents that supported me, everybody that supported me. I'm just grateful for everything. Thank you for my attorneys. They did a great job. I'm so grateful for you guys, for my family in the background. I'm just happy. I'm excited, you know.
These agents were lying about what happened. Ms. Martinez never rammed anybody.
These agents hit Miss Martinez. These agents jumped out and shot Miss Martinez, a U.S. citizen whose only crime was warning her fellow community members that ICE was in the neighborhood, acting in the way that multiple judges in this building have said is unlawful. And that is not a crime. She didn't deserve to be shot.
They shot, those agents, they shot Martinez 5 times, and then in the case, it came out that they bragged about it. And now we're joined by Leslie Moreno, who has covered this today at the Dirksen Federal Building. Leslie, take us inside how this all unfolded.
Hey, Paris, good evening. Yeah, it was a very short hearing. In just minutes, the judge dismissed both cases, as you mentioned, with prejudice, meaning they cannot be refiled once again. Both Martinez and Ruiz, along with family and friends, were present in that courtroom. They appear to be extremely happy with the judge's ruling. Here they are on your screen walking out of that hearing earlier this evening around 4 p.m. All of this comes after months of the defense pushing back against federal prosecutors accusing agents of mishandling and destroying key evidence. Martinez was shot several times on October 4th after Border Patrol agents said she rammed their SUV during a traffic stop in Brighton Park. Her attorneys have argued that the physical evidence tells a very different story. The focus for a while was that the federal Tahoe, the vehicle involved in the shooting, the defense says it was moved more than 1,000 miles away to Maine. It was repaired and cleaned before they were ever given a chance to inspect it. In earlier hearings, defense attorneys also pointed to disturbing text messages from the shooting agent, allegedly bragging about firing 5 rounds and saying Martinez, quote, had 7 holes, as well as body camera video that allegedly captured an agent yelling, quote, do something, B, just seconds before shots were fired. As you mentioned, Martinez spoke after that court hearing. She said what she witnessed and what she experienced, rather, was a very difficult thing. But again, she's glad to be home, and she's glad that this case was dismissed. As in terms of whether she will be suing DHS, Department of Homeland Security, her lawyer, when asked, shifted the focus back to the fact that they were very happy about the judge's ruling. He did, however, say that the judge's dismissal was just the beginning, the first step. So we'll definitely have to see what comes next. Paris?
It certainly sounds like, Leslie, from what you just said there will be next steps here. And I mean, this was serious. She had to drive herself to a nearby facility and then was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. And she had 5 gunshot wounds. Just an amazing situation. And all the charges dropped today. All right, Leslie Moreno, thank you so much. And more activity at the federal building. The U.S. Attorney's Office is pursuing federal terrorism charges against the man suspected of setting a woman on fire at the Loop CTA station. U.S. Attorney Andrew Boutros called attention to the fact that the suspect had been arrested and released for dozens of past crimes and should not have been on the street.
This is an individual with a very long and extensive criminal history on the state side. These are incredibly serious charges, and this is a case that now needs to be handled federally. This particular charge carries with it a life sentence, and if death were to happen to the victim, and obviously we pray and hope it does not, this would be a death-eligible case.
And joining us with some analysis is former federal prosecutor and longtime defense attorney Patrick Cotter of the law firm UB Greenfelder. Hey, Patrick, always good to see you. You know, while I got you, I wonder if you could react to just the DOJ dropping these charges. Is that a sign that this case was completely flimsy to begin with?
I think flimsy would probably be a compliment. It'd probably be an exaggeration of how strong the case was. I think they clearly dropped it because they were going to be very embarrassed by the truth. And so they got rid of it so that the truth would never come out in a courtroom.
And you know, they say there'll be next steps. I think we should know what the truth exactly was. All right, so let's get to this Loop case. Is it unusual for the feds to take a case that normally you would see state-level charges, attempted murder, which would carry, obviously, huge sentences?
Exactly. It's extremely rare. It does happen, but usually it happens when it fits the definition of domestic terrorism. And domestic terrorism is defined in the Patriot Act. It's not a separate crime but it's defined in the Patriot Act as engaging in violent or dangerous conduct with the goal of either intimidating a group of civilians, people, a group of some sort, or trying to coerce or intimidate the government or get the government to take some sort of change of position on a policy. The classic kind of terrorism we've heard of, things like the Ku Klux Klan trying to intimidate African Americans, that sort of thing. It's very unusual for an individual like this who attacks another person horribly. It's a horrific crime. But that's the kind of crime that is covered by state law, is prosecuted in state courts all the time, and it is very unusual for the feds to get involved.
And as far as we know, this was a random attack. It was a woman who was simply on her phone on the train. The man sets her on fire. Where's the terrorism come in?
I don't know, and the government hasn't told us. But my suspicion is that either the government is aware of some evidence where this alleged perpetrator made some kind of statement that he was targeting this victim because of her race or her ethnicity. And that would bring it somewhat within the definition of the Patriot Act, where you're trying to intimidate a group of people. So if they have evidence of that, perhaps that explains the decision. It may just be, of course, that they don't have direct evidence of that. He didn't say that, but they're going to try and argue and convince a judge and possibly a jury that that was his intent. His intent was to somehow attack this poor woman in hopes of intimidating other people in whatever class they claim she belonged to.
And it would seem like, I mean, this would be kind of tough to make sure that you have the evidence and you can prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, clearly the evidence by what we see is very strong for an attempted murder charge, an arson charge, assault charge, whatever you want. But this seems like it might be a higher bar to clear. Could it be that the feds are upset and irritated by the fact that this man allegedly had been arrested many times for many crimes and then back out on the street and saying, you know, if state law under the barriers of the Safety Act can't keep a man like this off the street, then we have to step in?
Well, I suppose so, but that's not logical or rational. If this man had been arrested for this kind of activity before and was back on the street, that would make sense. But from what I've heard, he's been arrested for things like breaking windows on CTAs and engaging in much less, very, very different kinds of crimes. If they're looking for some way to embarrass or try to embarrass state and county prosecutors, I suppose you could try and use this as a vehicle. But the idea that somehow state law and state prosecutors and state police could not handle this and prosecute it appropriately is just irrational. It's nuts. All they're doing is creating a higher burden for themselves in getting a conviction, because they're going to have to try and prove somehow that this intent fit the definition of domestic terrorism. Whereas in state court, this guy could be put away forever, effectively for life, without ever having to go there. You just say, this is horrific, this guy's a monster, and he should be put away. But the idea that somehow the state is incapable of doing it because when he broke windows, they didn't give him life in prison, it's irrational.
Yeah, I think a heinous crime, obviously, but important questions. Patrick Cotter, excellent analysis. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
President Trump has signed the bill releasing the Epstein files and since has unleashed lots of Truth Social posts, one calling for a punishment of death against Democratic U.S. senators who put out a video telling military members they should refuse illegal or unconstitutional orders if they're given by superiors. Here to address all of this and more is Republican U.S. Representative Darren LaHood. Representative LaHood, I want to get to the Epstein issues and some other issues, but first, the Truth Social posts, the one saying that the Democrats are guilty of, quote, seditious behavior, punishable by death for this video that they put out telling members not to obey illegal orders. Did that go too far?
That's probably not language that I would use, but obviously President Trump feels very strongly about that. I think members of Congress that served in the military, I think you got to be very, very careful about directing